perfect. You just look around this mosque anytime. Even the one person who came with one leg, remember what was his name? He healed, Felix. He left with 2 legs. So God designed this, the creation, and the creation of the heavens and the earth are enough signs for God. Now after you chop the carrots, where will they go? They go to grinders. Back here, see how they're designed? The grinders, they're flat. The front teeth are designed like scissors. They go just like scissors, they cut. And then they go to the grinders to make it fine, then you swallow it. Now in the swallowing process here, you take it for granted, don't you? But when you swallow, the air pipe is blocked first. You see the movement in there? And there's a sealing of the air pipe, so the food will go to the stomach, not to the lungs. You take this for granted, don't you? But God designed it, and you don't control it. And this is what it means that everything in the heavens and the earth glorifies God. Because even the disbeliever glorifies God. Because when the disbeliever swallows, his system is working according to God's will. The air pipe is blocked, and the digestive tract is open. The disbeliever's heart pumps, and he has no control over it. Can you stop your heart for a second? Can you slow it down or make it faster? Okay. So this is what it means, that everything in the heavens and the earth glorifies God. So in the creation of the heavens and the earth, I can go on and on as you see. The alternation of night and day. One of my favorite subjects. You saw the picture of the earth today? And the spaceship happened to be between the sun and the earth. So they took a picture of the illuminated side. The deviated illuminated side of the earth. and the other side was night. Now the earth is turning, and there's alteration of night and day, because it implies the earth is round, it is hanging in space. Who is holding it in space? Now how can the people avoid believing in God when they think about this? This is what means overwhelming signs of God. The axis of the earth is designed to create the seasons, which controls what kind of plants we grow, what kind of crops, what kind of food. What else as far as now the speed of rotation of the earth controls how many hours we have in the day. I mean day and night. And the speed is accurate. We know exactly what time the sun will rise 200 years from now.
It's
In a specific locality.
You know, it's so accurate they could predict where another planet was that they could never see.
Mm-hmm.
Like the discovery of Neptune. They had never seen Neptune, but the mathematical laws are so precise. They turned their telescope where they calculated, and there it was. That's how accurate the whole balance of the solar system.
Now they do it by laser beam bouncing back.
The whole balance of the solar system is if it was 1 second slower or 1 second faster, it would be out of balance.
This reminds me that the latest distance they measured was 4 billion light years. They saw an object that is 4 billion light years away, which means if that object was destroyed, died 4 billion years ago, we'll still see the light coming. Now 4 billion light years, you know, you're traveling at the speed of light for 4,000 million years to get there. And that's within the small universe. So the alternation of night and day implies a lot of information that tells us how great God is. The ships that roam the sea for the benefit of mankind. Now, water is a crazy liquid that has the physicists puzzled, because things float. Things float in the water, not in alcohol or kerosene or... Water has crazy properties. University of California, I took that course. At the University of California, the title is Water. And it has the physics, physical chemistry, and chemistry of water. Because it's unique. It's something that God did that makes the ships float in the water, makes you float in the water. Unless you do something to drown. If you stand still, you'll float in the water. Also makes it evaporate and then go to a certain height and hang up there. See, the clouds coming up. The clouds hanging between the earth and the sky. So they cool down and condense again into pure water. All these are designs. The water that God sends down to revive dead lands. I was just talking today about desert plants, for example. Did you know that the seeds of desert plants will not germinate unless a specific amount of rain falls? The mechanism of it is there's an inhibitor around the seeds that is water soluble, and you have to have a certain amount of water fall on it and wash the inhibitor away. So this guarantees a reservoir of water for the plant, for the seed. The seed will not germinate unless a specific amount of water falls in the desert. Who designed all this? But if the person makes a decision that they don't want to believe in God, they will not see any of this, as we know from the Quran. The manipulation of the winds. If the wind stands still for 3 or 4 months, the life will end. We need the wind because you know where all the water coming from? All these clouds come from the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic. It's because it's driven by the wind. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. There'd be no water in the underground. And you know how they panic in Tucson when the rain is late or something? And they have all those beat the peak programs. They panic. So you can imagine if there's no wind, there will be no Tucson. The manipulation of the winds. Pardon?
It would be a ghost town.
That's right. It'll be not even a ghost town. Wouldn't start to become ghosts. The clouds placed between the heavens and the earth, all these are signs for people who understand. Now the idol worshippers disowned by their idols. 165. Yet some people set up idols besides God and adore them as if they were God. However, the believers love God more than anything else. If only the wrongdoers could envision themselves when they face the retribution, they will find out that all power belongs to God alone, and that God is very strict in imposing retribution. Those who were followed will disown their followers. They will suffer the retribution, and all help to them will be severed. The followers will then say, if we could live our first life again, we will then disown them as they disown us now. Thus will God show them the consequences of their works as nothing but sorrow. They will never exit from hell. Now, these verses are actually written in the past tense in the Arabic, so I guess in the next edition I will make this in the past tense. And they were in the past tense because God is telling us something that actually took place in our future. God witnessed it, and He's telling us what happened between the idols and the idol worshippers. And we saw today the insignificance of the idols, whether it is Muhammad or Jesus or Mary or St. Francis or whatever. The things that the people idolize. The newspaper actually has prayers to St. Jude. for certain things. Today, I mean in the newspapers in these days. Huh? Yeah, in the personals. 2 days ago, this lady wrote to Ann Landers saying that she made a mistake investing her mother's life savings, and she was praying to Mary and St. Jude. And the title was "The Virgin and St. Jude Will Not Help You." That was the title by Ann Landers. Now, so we saw today the insignificance of the idols. We saw the picture of the earth and how big those people were, Muhammad or Mary or Jesus. Now we have to imagine the day of judgment, because that day will come. And the people will run to Jesus, for example, and tell him, are you going to help us? And he'll say, what are you talking about? I need help myself. Because he will be subject to the judgment, just like we are, just like all of us. As a matter of fact, all of us will see hell first, initially, so that we appreciate heaven, inshallah, when we get there. But we must imagine that what these verses are telling us, that the people will go to their idols. They will go to Muhammad. You heard about the myth of intercession of Muhammad. They will go, will you intercede on our behalf? And he's going to tell them, sorry, I have no power. I'm worried about my own neck. Like Surah 21 tells us, that the prophets will be worried about their own fate. This is what these verses are telling us. This is what the Bible is saying. In Matthew 7:23, if you want to see it, 7:23, Matthew 7:23 says that the people will go to Jesus on the day of judgment and tell him, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name? Have we not performed miracles in your name? Have we not glorified your name? Etc., etc. And Jesus will say, away out of my sight, I don't know you. So in other words, he will disown them. You just listen to the preachers on the TV and the radio on Sunday and see how much glorification of Jesus they are doing. So Satan succeeded in diverting their attention from God to Jesus. And Satan did the same trick with the Muslims, diverting their attention from God to Muhammad. They're all human beings and they're all subject to Satan's tricks. So these verses here are telling us that the idols will disown their worshippers. These verses are actually identical